Our first topic of the day is going to be talking about Nerchio and Mkers, a team that, and player, of course, obviously former at this point, that obviously there was some tension. There were things going on between organization and player that obviously didn't really work out. And it seems that Nerchio, we may obviously talked about this in a previous episode of the 8 Below show, Nerchio claiming that he had not been paid by Mkers, the esports organization, then of course replied stating, kind of making up all these weird excuses and basically stating that the players need to be more responsible, showing them receipts and things of that nature to be able to get paid. Very weird back and forth. Well, anyways, we spoke about that. We kind of reported on it, talked about it. So I figured, why not finish this topic, right? And kind of give you the conclusion of kind of what happened, or is it really actually a conclusion at this point? Because Arthur Block, also known as Nerchio, went ahead and tweeted out saying, "I would like to inform you about the situation to the problem of missing salary from Mkers' team. As a result of talks between lawyers, the money is in my account and I consider this matter so far to be resolved." Period. So right there, guys, it looks like Nerchio is stating that he got his money. He got the money that was owed to him, and I think Mkers obviously owed him money, right? He got the money, and he says so far it's resolved. Well, Mkers went ahead, and they posted a tweet stating following Mr. Block's latest statements. And if you click on this tweet longer, it brings you to a post, a statement in which reads, "Following Mr. Block's latest statements, we are forced to once again speak about this matter in order to provide a precise and correct reconstruction of the facts." In his latest tweet, Mr. Block has forgotten to mention that the amounts paid to him correspond to what Mkers has always considered the player was entitled to. To arrive at a solution, we required the consultancy of lawyers who determined that Mr. Block's initial demands did not correspond in the contract agreement signed by both parties. It is yet another distorted representation of the facts from Mr. Block to damage our company. Once again, we would like to reiterate how a wrong and damaging use of social media can be prejudicial, not only our company, but the whole sector, because we are passionate about this game and sector into which we put all our effort and dedicate all our time. We are displeased to turn a meaningful one-year growth experience, which involved other players and a whole support staff, into a negative episode. Mkers was one of the organizations which invested the most in 2019 in this game, and in doing so, achieving great results. Despite this unpleasant event, Mkers will continue to represent and promote StarCraft 2 in the future. So I think what Mkers is saying here is that Nerchio stated that he considered the matter to be resolved and the money's in his account. Basically, essentially kind of giving us the hint or the idea that Mkers was in the wrong and they paid him because they were wrong, and it's like, okay, we gotta get on this and we gotta do this, and because we don't want to get called out on social media again. And he didn't necessarily state that any wrongdoings once again. He just basically said that he got his money and it was resolved. So I see where Mkers is coming from, which basically saying that they don't like the way that he presented it on social media, and I understand that, but I don't think that Nerchio is trying to damage the company more, as Mkers is making it sound like. They got a lot of backlash on this as well, that this post. A lot of people just saying, stop talking, Mkers, stop making statements, just kind of move on. This has already been resolved, just move on. And they're having a tough time doing that. I see both sides of it, right? I see look, just don't even, okay, it's look, it's taken care of, let's just move forward. But with a team like Mkers that's still trying to make a name for themselves, they have sponsors and things of that nature and probably investors involved as well. They're probably stating, look, they're probably getting pressure from those people to make a statement to basically try to, kind of represent the facts, right? As far as their facts to this entire situation. So I see it both ways, guys. I don't know. I mean, I think that Nerchio was just keeping us all informed as to, that he got paid and that everything's good now. Mkers is just kind of, I don't know. They want their company represented in a certain way, which is certainly you definitely want, those things to be, taken care of behind closed doors more likely than not. And I mean, sometimes though, it seems like players have to come up with ways in which to get their money that they're owed. And Mkers is, just another team that is kind of caught in that crossfire between players and fans and all of that. So I don't know if they're, I'm swaying towards one side or another. Obviously, it seems like Nerchio getting his money and all of that is basically stating that Mkers was in the wrong and that they did pay him the debts that were owed. But, I kind of see both sides of it, really. But I would love to hear from you guys. What do you guys think about this? Whose side are you on? Do you see both sides of the story or situation kind of like myself? What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section below.